Hello and welcome to Mystic Ashram. Today I'm going to talk about why don't most Westerners believe in astrology? Well, I think it has a lot to do with horoscopes in magazines and newspapers, which are done according to sun sign. And as most people hopefully know, sun signs are not the entire part of your chart. They're not even a 12th of your chart. And even there are new things in your chart, like asteroids. As new asteroids have been identified, so too have new points in people's personal charts. Now, there are various kinds of charts. You could look at the chart of the moment, for example, and when you do that, it's important how those sun sign horoscopes work is that you're uh, basically using the ascendant on that current chart to determine everybody's sun sign who's reading. I suggest uh, reading or watching for your ascendant, which is a more inner thing. Now, I'm going to be producing a video very soon that has to do with what's the difference between an Eastern Vedic astrology reading and chart and a Western tropical zodiac um, Placidus type Western reading um, in just a moment here. But for the moment, let's stick to the topic at hand. Why don't more people believe in astrology? I think it's gotten a very bad rap. I presented in front of a philosophical association about a full presentation about the history of astrology and why I personally believe in astrology and how it's proven its merits throughout cultures over the ages. And I guess I did pretty well because I got an A on the presentation, so that was quite good. So, and I recently ran across it, and I know it's here. So when I run across it, you can expect a formally produced version of my presentation on why astrology is scientifically valid as a science. It is also statistically relevant. Statistics tend to back up things which are traditional in astrology findings. Um, However, I personally don't like the computerization of too much in the way of statistics, and I stick to the school of there are lies, there are damned lies, and there are statistics. As a statistician once said, um, but I have been told throughout much of my sociology training that statistics are not that difficult. Um, so back to astrology. These horoscopes, which are in newspapers and magazines, and people usually read for their sun signs, unaware of their ascendants. They sometimes work out, and in but not as well as if you actually pay attention to the map of the sky at the time of your birth, and then an astrologer who's casting for the time you're having the reading, what they'll do is they'll get a map of the sky at the time you're having the reading, and those 2 points with computers, it's very quick, and I learned this before everybody had a PC. So, or a Macintosh in their homes. So I learned it how to do it by hand. At some point, we'll have video uh, of and I'll walk you through how to do a chart by hand, if you would like. So comment if you would like me to do that. Haha! Now it's on you. So the time, the chart of the moment, and your chart when you were born, and it's calculated as the median point between both of them, and that gives us some idea of the transits, the period of time, and the aspects which your chart will make during that period of time as it progresses through that particular part of the sky as things line up. It's that median point between your personal chart and the chart of the moment that really indicates a forecast. Now, there are other types of charts. There are charts called progressive views, life as a transformative ascension process where you're working towards self betterment and self perfection, an ascension, as it were, from the chart you're born into to an idealistic uh, sort of chart. So a striving to become. It also there's also draconic charts, which and draconic is interesting because it is a way of calculating. These are all calculated off your own personal chart. They're just Western, various versions of Western casting. So a draconic chart is uh, what you would ideally nature kind of interpersonality is. So oh dear, we're timed out. Hopefully we'll come back on in just a minute. I don't know if we're gonna come back on here. All right. I think we're reconnected. Sorry about that, everyone. So, um, I believe that people have difficulty when it comes to describing and understanding the signs, and I really got involved with astrology because I found people fascinating, and I thought it would help me socially if I knew based on their signs what what they would be interested in discussing, what fascinated them, what their hobbies could be, that kind of thing. And it led kind of to these doors where, certain physical types tend to be, i- you know, demonstrating a lot more of their chart um, here and there. And so that's been kind of interesting. But ah, I'll have to talk about more astrology stuff in the next video. For right now, I'm going to cut this short. And I think that in closing, I think there was a time in Western astrology where astrologers were very highly regarded, particularly in the 1970s and 1980s. This had to do a lot with Donna Dixon and her advising of the Reagans in the White House and celebrities like Linda Goodman, who disappeared eventually after writing a lot of books and being a very enigmatic figure who I grew up reading quite a bit. And then she vanished. And I think that in the 70s and 80s, it was just much more um, possible, perhaps, to find a little bookstore, hole in the wall bookstore with a bunch of historic astrology books and interesting, enigmatic things going on than I see right now with the online culture. That's not to say people aren't interested. Uh, Actually, a lot of polls say people are very interested in the ethereal realms, um, especially in our augmented hyperspace sort of reality that we live in online now. So, anyway, I've enjoyed speaking with you about this matter, and I'm going to be right back on with some more discussions of astrology. And take care, and hopefully, we'll get around to me actually talking about signs too. So, stay tuned. Please subscribe, like, share if you haven't already. And if you have, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Take care, and we'll talk to you all very soon.